Go.
What's up, everyone? This is Jason Tucker. This is WPwatercooler, episode number 165. Today's topic is, how do I say this? It is WordCamp US 2015. We have a lot of folks on who both attended and not attended the event. We're going to go around the room real quick and get everyone introduced. Chris, tell us about yourself, Chris.
Hey, I'm Chris Wiegman, and back in Sarasota, Florida this week after up in, I don't know which city that was for WordCamp US this weekend.
I think it's called Lancaster.
Lancaster?
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't
not
think
so loud.
there's a
got the
WordCamp
hangover.
Lancaster.
Yes, there is. I run it.
George, tell us about yourself.
My name is George. I have a hangover, and I run WordCamp Lancaster. I actually do. We're the first Saturday in March this year. I work on Jetpacky goodness at Automattic and building two-factor authentication for Core. So just keep your voices down. It'll be all right.
Dude.
Patrick, you're muted, but please tell us about yourself.
So my name is Patrick Rauland. I went to WordCamp US. I do a lot of the product management for WooCommerce at Automattic, and I did speak about e-commerce stuff at WordCamp US. So.
Awesome. What about you, Russ?
My name is Russ. I have an unnecessarily large bag of Skittles. It's called Diabetes in a Bag, and I run WordCamp Vegas.
Let's see if your microphone's working.
Nope.
It is not. Hello,
Praise
my name is
be!
Reed.
I
I
mean,
do all the
that's a
things.
Best water cooler ever.
You can find me, say Reedy on all the things. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Here, I'm going to say it, and you just mouth it. Okay, ready, go.
WordPress, teach WordPress, live WordPress, be WordPress.
See?
Awesome. Tracy, how about you?
Hi, I'm Tracy Levesque, and I'm one of the WordCamp US co-organizers, and I just woke up a little bit ago.
Awesome. Steve, what about you?
I am Steve Zehngut. I'm the founder of Zeek Interactive, and I run the OC WordPress Meetup.
Nice. I'm Jason Tucker. You can find me Jason Tucker on Twitter and WPmedia.pro, where I've talked about some cool stuff there. So make sure you go take a look at it.
So wait, I want to clarify something, George. You run WordCamp Lancaster, Pennsylvania. When I hear Lancaster, I think Lancaster, California. There is no WordCamp Lancaster, California.
Well, there's actually two different WordCamp Lancasters at vastly different locations. The original WordCamp Lancaster was WordCamp Lancaster in the UK. We are WordCamp Lancaster, Pennsylvania.
Right, which is way different than Lancaster, California.
Yes.
Promise.
Yes. Yeah, we have Amish.
Well, they have mesh.
Is that going to be your slogan? We have Amish?
Kind of, is it? Yeah.
We got check signs every year for our logo.
Hey, can your logo just be like a guy churning butter? That'd be
No.
awesome.
So I hear that there was a big event that happened. There was a day that occurred because of it. Tell us
There were 3
a little
days
bit about this
of
stuff.
it.
WordCamp US Day, WordPress Day here.
Yeah, WordPress Day. That was pretty awesome.
Yeah, we wanted to have a lot of cool things happen and surprises, and that was one of the big surprises we were working on. Jody, who's one of the organizers, so I live here in Philly. Jody lives here in Philly. There were a bunch of us from Philly and the surrounding area who was involved, and she just knows this councilman, David O., and so she met with him several times and just made it happen. It was really cool. We were super excited to reveal that.
That's pretty awesome.
I think if you just keep tweeting them enough, they'll finally just say fine.
Now, important thing to remember.
So wait,
December
this was an
5th
official thing?
Yes, December 5th. Whereas it was proclaimed to be WordPress Day, December 5th, 2015, but it's not an annual thing. It was only this year.
So commemorating a day in history.
We
That's
commemorate it, yes.
So has somebody updated the Wikipedia page regarding this?
I don't know if they did. Steve, do you have any? You're the Wikipedia
According
guy
to
here.
Wikipedia,
Yeah.
no, I'm not doing any Wikipedia.
Well, the proclamation was handed to Matt Mullenberg.
They called him the guy who was reading.
They called him
The guy
Matt
who was reading
Mullenberg.
it called him Matt Mullenberg. It was hilarious.
David O., that was our council person, David O.
And then Matt owned it.
It was explained later that he had once dated a woman whose last name was Molenberg, and that's why it came out accidentally the first time.
That's awesome.
I love it.
That was towards the beginning of the. If you watch it, it's actually on WordPress TV now, so you can go and take a look at that stuff if you want to watch the.
Oh, and hey, we can hear Say now.
Hi, I'm Say, and
Yes!
I'm Say Reed on all the things.
Oh, thank God.
So how should we kind of organize this episode so we can kind of talk about all the stuff that happened without having to go into all the gory details of each of the different little
So just some of the bigger stuff, I guess, would be talking about the state of the word and how important it is for all of us to learn things deeply.
Oh, we need to learn them super deep.
So, but this is kind of in response to what you were saying, Say, on a previous episode where you're like, I don't want to learn JavaScript, but it sounds like
Yeah,
you're going to have to learn JavaScript.
Last week, when I don't even know if you guys can see me. This is self.
Yeah, we can.
There you go.
But keep
Okay,
moving
good.
the camera around. That shouldn't cause any epilepsy.
I'm having a lot of problems over here. No, so last week when we had Matt on and I was complaining about learning JavaScript and everyone was like, yeah, PHP, it's still going to be around. And then basically at the State of the Word, his closing thing was to assign us all homework, which is to learn JavaScript deeply. And not just shallowly, but deeply. And
I love the lady at the end. She asked a question. She's like, Matt, what framework should I be learning for JavaScript? And in like the nicest way possible, he basically said all of them, but just go learn JavaScript.
No, really, it's any of them, because I mean, a lot of the knowledge that you pick up from jQuery, from underscores, from React, it's all based. It's like, how can I learn PHP? Should I learn WordPress or Drupal? Well, learn PHP and you'll pick it up via anything you choose to get deep enough into.
Yeah. Well, I think if you learn one programming language, you can start learning others because phonetically they're all the same. There are some kind of differences, but
I mean,
you
it's
start
just
letters,
letters,
picking things up.
underscores, numbers. They're just scrambled together differently. Gosh.
So all you're saying, George, is programming is basically slamming your head on a keyboard and saving?
yes, that's how I do it. But that's how I've always played video games too. I just sit there and mash all the buttons together.
Hey,
And then
if you
That's
have
smart.
1,000 Russells and 1,000 keyboards, eventually you'll come up with Drupal.
Oh, wow.
So where was the event held?
According to Adam Silver, somebody actually
it was
already.
at the Pennsylvania Convention Center. It's the only venue that could hold a conference of this size in Philadelphia. And
That
we
being said,
hope to be bigger next year.
It was massive.
there is room to grow. They could easily hold
Absolutely.
something double the size we had.
There was so we were in one section of the convention center. The convention center kept going. There was a whole other convention going on at the same time, epilepsy convention. It had like 6,000 to 8,000 people, something like that. And you never even knew it was happening. So
Yeah.
there's plenty of room to grow in that space.
That's very cool, and I love all of the artwork and stuff that was going on in there. There was like a wall or something full of coffee mugs. Was that right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's in the other part of the convention center. But yeah, there's a lot of local artists' art up in the convention
That's
center.
so cool. Yeah.
Philadelphia is really into local art, or I don't know if it's local, but they're really into art. There's a lot of art.
We're really into art. We're into street art. We're into art everywhere, all the time.
It's a thing.
One of the things I definitely appreciated more than past WordCamp San Francisco's is the hallway track seemed to be a lot stronger than normal. Like normally past
Well,
WordCamp San
because it was
Francisco,
a hallway. It wasn't like a
Yeah.
Hallway.
normally during San Francisco, during the tracks, it would be fairly empty out in the like walkways. Here, I mean, for the entire morning, you couldn't even tell when the track started and stopped. It was just so full.
Well, that is because GoDaddy was giving away all of these coins, and everyone really just wanted to, and these are all the coins I got. Yes, thank you. So really everyone just wanted the coins because they were giving away a drone. Everyone just wanted, there was the swag game was strong, let's just say.
So
It
was the
strong
coins that you
swag.
needed to collect enough of them in order to get the drone, or what was the? What was
You
the
got a black coin.
You had to get the black
Yes.
coin, which I happen to have in this amazing commemorative edition, in case you're interested in seeing it. The cool thing is that these coins were designed by Michelle Marktime Media. Schultz. Marktime Media on all the things. So,
Don't no.
anyway, it was cool. Good t-shirts. Jetpack had great t-shirts. Really soft. So I know those are the important things.
They
So
are.
we get those out of the way right up front.
And hey, as long as you're evaluating providers based on the softness of their shirts.
I evaluate everyone on the softness of their
There was a lot of
So, I have a question for Tracy. When you guys were planning WordCamp, how many entries were there, and how involved were you with picking speakers versus doing like what was your main task? But like,
he wants to know why he didn't get picked to speak.
no, I didn't apply at all. I was
Me
like
neither.
I was like Chris Lemma. I was on a beach somewhere.
There were hundreds. There were a lot of speaker applications, and everybody who was an organizer got. We set up the spreadsheet, and you got to vote and put in notes. So it was pretty sure we all did a sweep of like, and like this sounds good, and then we went through it about 50,000 more times. So everyone got a voice. I guess my biggest task was planning the community summit.
Oh, wow.
Which is the 2 days.
Let's talk about the community summit a little bit. Tell us what happened. Tell us what went on there.
Well, we can't go too deep into it because it is a safe space and all the conversations that happen there are protected.
Well, that was informative.
Yes.
You're right. Well, I mean, it's.
I thought it was afterwards. You just couldn't do it during there, but afterwards you could like talk about what happened. No, you still can't talk about it.
Day one is an unconference where topics are assembled and people talk about it. That's the day that has a social media policy. Day two is just working. Teams get together and work on stuff in real life. And it was great. It went really well. I got a lot of great feedback. We had it at a really unique space that had lots of places to hang out and work on things and have breakout rooms. So I thought it was pretty cool.
So Tracy, I went to the one last year. Would I be correct in saying you talk about all the non-everyday WordPress things, like how do we make the plugin repository better, and how do we? It's stuff like that, right? It's like all
big
the
picture stuff.
Big picture stuff, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's really awesome.
Like, where is this whole thing going? Who's driving this boat?
and also more detailed things. So it's really what just community to talk about. Anybody can pose a topic and it gets voted on and then maybe included in.
And then that's an invitation only. Whoa, I was loud. That's an invitation only situation, right? Like This year it wasn't. Last year there were applications.
There was an application this year too, and I noticed that you did not apply, and I was like,
"Aw." No, I couldn't get back early, so I couldn't even. I had to leave early. But I think Community Summit is a really cool part of the National WordPress Conference because I think that the people who are at the national conference, and even maybe more so than in San Francisco, which is why I was so excited about this, is because it was more of like the core WordPress people, like as less beginners and a lot more developers and people were involved. When during the State of the Word, Matt asked how many people had made a plugin, it was like most of the audience raised their hand, which was pretty cool.
Yeah.
So, and I think that the level of the talks really reflected that also. And I was interested to see what would happen with that, which is why I didn't apply to talk because I don't talk to developers because why would I do that? But it was really development, kind of high-level stuff, a lot of coding, a lot of talking about bigger picture things.
But also, like, there were the community groups, there were the polyglots that do the translations. It was a lot more, like, I barely had my laptop out for most of it. It was much more just, like, talking through what we should be doing than how we're doing it.
Was that different for you, George? You just said that you didn't have your laptop out. Do you normally, are you like working on a project or something during the middle of, Shada Torabi's talk?
It's called multitasking.
Yeah, or taking notes and looking at stuff and following along in the code.
Sure.
But, I mean, I think one really important thing going forward is, now this is the third community summit we've had. The first was October 2012 on Tybee Island, Georgia. Second was at WordCamp San Francisco last year. Third is in Philly this year. My personal hope is that it's just acknowledging the more global reach of the contributors to the WordPress project, that we can look at potentially coupling it with maybe WordCamp Europe at some year in the future. Because there's a lot of contributors overseas that have a very hard time getting to the U.S.
So now it's just called WordCamp Western Hemisphere? Is that what it's going to be called?
WordCamp Earth.
WordCamp Earth. You heard it here first. Although in Rami's talk,
I know.
Rami Abramson, I think, he talked about WordCamp Mars in 2034. So, WordCamp Earth has to come first.
I saw The Martian. It can happen.
I love her talk. I thought it was awesome.
I really wanted to see that. I was actually talking about the regular sessions being more kind of developer based, not necessarily just the community summit. But I think there were also a lot of case studies, which I thought was really cool, like the New York Times, like showing how things
how
have
that
been
whole thing
done.
got built.
Yeah, I mean that was really cool, like because you're seeing things in action. So it's the post version instead of the pre version. Talking about how to do it is one way. But then talking about how it was done, and I mean, for something like the New York Times, that's pretty amazing. Like,
Mel and Courtney also did a presentation on, I can't remember the name of the museum, but the museum.
Smithsonian. Just a little one.
That one. And that case study and how they, did that design process. So yeah, I want more. The one thing that I did get a little feedback because I was one of the people who would be answering all the questions that came in the Google email. And he'll be like, I'm a beginner, will there be stuff for me? I'm like, sure, there'll be stuff for you. And I had one of those people find me and say, I'm having a hard time finding talks for me. And there were great talks like Andrea's talk, Andrea Rennick, about WordPress changes lives. That was great. And it had nothing really to do with coding or anything.
See, but I don't think this is the right place for beginners. I think beginners belong at their local WordCamps, and we need a space to talk about the bigger pictures, because otherwise developers and the people who attend the WordCamps get bored and they end up in the hallway the whole time, and then people don't even see value in WordCamp. So I think that's
but during
the place for WordCamp US.
One given session, there should be something that a beginner could.
I don't think beginner is really the right word. Maybe like not developers or people who are like more on the project side.
Accomplish big picture topics that a beginner could still enjoy, or a user or a blogger could still enjoy, and have other developer and designer stuff.
That's just really weird because normally Andrea Middleton requires that there's something for everybody there. It's something.
And we had a lot of that. We had a lot of that going on, but I think maybe the people who are brand new, and it's just like one person out of
They could have went and hung out in the Kite and Key room or Kite and I think there was I think there was a lot of good talks in there.
There were much more soft topics in Kite and Key, which I thought was great.
Well, it was short and to the point though, because sometimes with presentations it's like an hour-long drawn-out thing about how to import JavaScript. That I didn't mind George talking about, but I'm just saying that like these 15-minute lightning talks are great, and they get to the point. Shada had a really good one. Shada Toriabi had a good one that said, "Remember when you were a first timer and you wished Steve Zehngut came up to you and said, 'Hi, what do you do with WordCamp?'" No, she didn't say that. But she said, no, she said though. But like, do you remember when you were a first timer and you wish somebody would come and say hi and like, what do you do with WordPress and welcome into the community? Like, why don't you return the favor? I think that was good talk.
That was also New Year's this year, having one track that was entirely 10-minute lightning talks.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they were 10 minutes, and I actually think, to me, they're a little short because it's like you're just too I don't know. I feel like everyone just kind of grazed their topic, which I guess is the point.
That's the point.
I think a 15-minute talk. I don't know. I would prefer them to be
and
like
that talk
extra
forces
5
you to
minutes.
get to the point immediately.
Well, so to that point though, I was in WordCamp Minneapolis this year, and Samal gave this great 5-minute lightning talk, and it was about colors and people who are colorblind, and his talk literally was just, don't use red. Don't use green. That's 5 minutes. That's all he said was don't use these colors. And now he's like a big speaker at many WordCamps. I think those little lightning talks help people come up with better topics.
Yeah, I guess I just want a little bit more, and it's something like WordCamp US.
Then go to the regular talks.
No, I did go to the regular talks. I wish
too long.
There were topics at the Kite and Key that I thought were good, but I'm not saying I just think that there's more to get into there. I understand that's the point of it, but they were really fast.
My porridge is too hot. My porridge is too cold.
I think there's a place for everybody, but I just
Sure.
definitely think it's the place. WordCamp US seems to me like the place that you can get into that stuff and you can have a little more meat going on than just here's an introduction.
The lightning
here's
talks
that.
at WordCamp San Francisco last year were 5 minutes long.
Yeah.
Double down.
Yeah, and that's even worse, like insaner.
So
But I don't know. That's why I don't know.
Well, I have something here. So, what if we were talking about how if somebody was a newbie and that they were looking for the WordCamp to go to, and you lived in Philadelphia, what happens then?
that is the local.
This is not the
Well,
WordCamp for you to go to.
Wait, there was a WordCamp Philly already this year, though.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
We kind of stopped, our WordCamp Philly, the call went out for applications
Yeah.
for WordCamp US while we were still planning WordCamp Philly, which is why we were all still active and were able to put in the time to put
Right.
in that application. And we just kind of never stopped working all the way up until yesterday.
Wow.
So
we're
was WordCamp Philly one of your first times? Because they said that this year there were 601 organizers of WordCamp, and like 60% of them were first timers. I'm part of that statistic. Tracy, are you?
WordCamp Philly was my first time being like one of the main organizers. I had been like a second tier, really
Yeah,
involved,
sure.
doing design stuff maybe, or volunteering, but never one of the lead main organizers. So that was my first time getting that deep into it.
That's
And
cool.
I never stopped.
So did they talk about what's going to happen next year and what's going to happen the next couple years? Is it
Yeah,
like a
JavaScript.
2-year
And
type
the
of
REST
rotation
API.
or what?
There was so much talk about the REST API, it wasn't even funny. Like, oh, hey, look, it's Drew. Hey,
Hi,
Drew.
Hi, sorry guys.
Organized Contributor Day. That was him. And we had pretzels last night at midnight, and that's why I'm so tired.
This pretzel hangover, it's rough, man.
So did they say anything about like what's going to happen next year? And it sounds like at some point this is going to become like the Olympics, where like the local communities are going to be the ones that are going to kind of have to take on like the burden of of having this huge event and then having all those. So at some point, is LA, Orange County, or whatever going to
I
have
love
to
the
deal
way
with
that
some
you
type of thing?
Extent.
I love the way that you describe that, Jason. It's like you have to put in for the WordCamp 2013 or 2023 US. Like it's like a whole Olympic bid. I love that idea.
Will there be a summer word camp and a winter word camp?
Oh, that's hilarious.
It's 2 years
Also-
at a time, so it's going to be in Philadelphia again next year, and then it'll be in
So
City.
so
For-
technically.
And the dates have already been announced.
So-
It
so
is
technically
December
Phil-
2nd and 3rd of 2016 in
Technically,
Philly.
Philadelphia was a winter word camp.
It was very warm for it being.
Yeah, it's
It wasn't bad.
But is it going to end up being like Whistler, where at some point there's just not going to be any snow, and now they don't know what to do there, or what?
What?
I'm not
What?
following you.
What?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
All right, forget it. I went a little too far into the whole the whole Olympics thing. So okay, so every 2 years is what they've kind of landed on, right?
Yeah, and they're going to open up the application for 2017 before, like in 2016. So whoever wins that will have some experience with us planning.
I think-
for us.
I think that not to not talk about the planning anymore part, but I think next year I'm so excited about this next year of WordPress, and I think next year at WordCamp US it's going to be kind of a real milestone because everything has shifted. We've got WordCamp US, we've got Calypso, we've got everyone switch over to JavaScript or also learn JavaScript and get all deep and whatever. So I think. Like next year, we're going to know a lot more. This year, it's all like, what's possible with the REST API and what's possible with all this stuff. And I think next year, we're going to have a lot more concrete understanding of where this is possibly going to go. And so I'm really excited about that. This is like, I think, one of the most exciting years that WordPress has had coming up. So.
Tracy, are you excited to plan another WordCamp for more people? I think they said there was 1,801 people that bought tickets.
Yes.
And I think Matt said hopefully that they double that next year. Are you excited to do that?
Yeah, we are excited. I mean, it's a lot of work, but I like the organizing team. We all got along so well doing WordCamp Philly and worked really well together, and I think that's why was
Okay, so
event. So I'm ready. You know.
What did you guys do for lunch? That's what I want to know. What was the lunch like at WordCamp US?
It was barbecue and cheesesteak.
We had hostage catering. I think that's what they were calling it, where you're stuck with the venue. But we had a hack for Contributor Day, where we gave everybody cards to the Reading Terminal Market, which is just delicious. So we had a workaround for Sunday. That made me happy.
So if we could get Drew off mute, it'd be awesome to hear also about how Contributor Day went in these last couple minutes, because I think that's a huge component of the National WordPress Conference.
I think we had, what, 350 people there for Contributor Day?
Damn!
Yeah, 334.
And how was that? How'd that go?
We had a lot of planning that went into that, and it's pretty interesting to do it alongside the world's largest WordCamp, because then you get a larger Contributor Day, right? I don't know, we made an awesome lot of progress yesterday. But to be perfectly honest, I was super surprised how many people came back after lunch. Right? Like, if everyone goes to lunch.
Oh, leave. Go out and get out of here. Go home.
So we did something different with the Reading Terminal Market. We just said, here's a $15 gift card, go get lunch whenever you want. Between now, like 10 a.m. and 5, just go get lunch whenever you're hungry.
Do you think people were actually getting help, or do you think people were actually contributing, and that's why they came back?
I think so. I think it was every team showed measurable progress yesterday, which is pretty amazing.
Well,
because again, it's the caliber of WordPress-involved people that were at this event. Is you saw people, from all sorts of different dev shops and independent dev shops, and just really, it was a lot more of a deeper level. I guess that's really the theme.
Well, I think
the theme of this episode.
We were actually anticipating getting more sort of newer contributors, because we had the Summit Working Day on Thursday, and that was like the movers and shakers on all the teams were there working together for an entire day. It was like a Contributor Day on Thursday, so we were expecting more beginners on Sunday, and if we double numbers next year, I think it would be sweet to double numbers at the Contributor Day, and I think we could do it.
I mean, there's just been so much growth, especially in contributors and committers now, because I think I saw Nason tweeting that back in 2010 there were 4 developers with commit access to core, and now we're up in the 30s, I believe.
35. Yep. Isn't that crazy?
Hey. I just realized Chris is lurking and hasn't said anything, so do you want to talk about the fact that you spoke for a second, Chris, or you just want to sit there and lurk like a lurker?
I'm good lurking.
Back under your bridge, Chris.
We've only got a couple minutes, but I think we'd be remiss if we didn't mention that 4.4 is due out tomorrow. Is that still on track? Do we know?
That's what they said on Saturday.
It's still on track.
According to the State of the Word, Matt Mullenweg said, well, now that we announced it, we have to hit that date.
Right?
Well, it was on track, but 6 new people got commit over the weekend, so we'll see.
Well, yeah, but
I think something also that's really exciting is that they announced who the 4.5, 4.6, and 4.7 leads are. Absolutely. I don't know the one in the 4.6, but 4.5 is Shredder from
DreamHost.
From Cali.
All right, well, if you don't know Dominic Schilling, you should know him, because he's the one who's leading all of the internationalization stuff right now.
Yeah. Oh, wow, that's awesome.
You may know him by his handle, which is Ocean90.
Yeah.
Nope, don't know him by that.
And then 4.7, Matt's taking the reins back, so that'll be exciting. I think that's nice when, get back in the trenches, even though, he's in a suit with a haircut and stuff.
I'm very curious to see what 4.7 brings, especially with the, what would that be, the 2017 theme. Off chance that's somewhat partially based on the REST API, or...
Oh my god!
Wait, why would that be the 2017? Because aren't there 3 major releases? This is 4.4, 4.5, 4.6, 4.7, that should be in the same year, right?
Because the annual theme release happens every third release in the December release.
Right, I got you. Okay, fair enough.
Snap!
Like the model year of a car, right? So
exactly.
2017 comes out December of 2016.
Well, you look at the time.
Boom.
Yeah,
That's it. 30 minutes of awesome stuff.
New York.
I think I hear nothing calling me right now. I gotta get.
Awesome, folks. Thank you very much for being on the show today and kind of giving us a recap of how all the things happen over in Philly. Make sure you go to our website, WPwatercooler.com, click on the links there. If you want to join our newsletter, we do a newsletter every week where we kind of post this stuff out so you can get it via email. And if you want to listen to us on iTunes, we have caught up. All of our audio is now on iTunes, so make sure you go check those out as well. Thank you all for being on the show. You guys have a good rest of your day. Bye-bye.
Watch the videos on .tv.
Jason, you did a really good job with all those featured images. I love them.
Yes. Bye-bye, guys.
Bye.